Yo, what is up, guys? Ethan here, back in another video, and we are back with college football predictions. As you can tell by the thumbnail and title, we are back with the Alabama 22 predictions. They were the runner-ups of the college football championship last year, as we all know. They lost to Georgia in the college football championship. They're gonna have a lot of momentum this year. Personally, I have them as the number one team heading into the season. Even with all these predictions, I may even just make a video on my top 25 heading into this season. Let me know in the comment section below if you would be interested in that. But Alabama would be number one as of right now for me. You return the Heisman runner, or the Heisman winner, and quarterback Bryce Young, as he was only a redshirt freshman last year, which is ridiculous. But there is some concerns, as that offensive line is still like a red flag if there is any with this Alabama team. This offense is returning 61% of their players, which is ranked 80th in college football. But then if we look at the defensive side of the ball, they're returning 70% of their players, which is 54th in college football. And in my opinion, if it's not Bryce Young, you have the second best player in college football, which is edge rusher or linebacker Will Anderson Jr., who was absolutely snubbed of the Heisman Trophy last year. Well, even to be a finalist, I probably still would have given it to Bryce Young, but should have 100% be a finalist over Aiden Hutchinson and Kenny Pickett. This Alabama team, this offense, like I already talked about with the quarterback, the running game with Jahmyr Gibbs, a transfer from Georgia Tech, should definitely be improved with this team. The wide receivers are probably going to be a little of a question mark for me, even though you do get Georgia's number one receiver from last year, Jermaine Burton, who kind of plays in that John Mechie role. And then you also have Tyler Harrell, who transferred in from Louisville, who kind of plays as Jameson Williams. So they're trying to get the players back as that receiver core how it was last year. And then you're going to have Ja'Cory Brooks back. He had an okay season, but he should definitely be improved. And then JoJo Earl is that fourth receiver, definitely going to get some playing time. Like I said, the only concern about this offense, in my opinion, is the offensive line. Because the offensive line, besides Evan Neal, really did not play well last year. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they perform this year with all the experience on the O-line. And then I forgot to also mention Cameron Latu returns to tight end. This defense, though, is going to be crazy. It's definitely going to be a top 5 defense, in my opinion. As I've already talked about, Will Anderson, best defensive player in college football. And then him on one end and having Dallas turn on the other end. But that is the best edge rush duo in college football, unless I'm blanking on somebody right now. The linebacking core is always great. The interior defensive line is always going to be great. And then the second, especially those two safeties, overall the secondary is going to be great with Jordan Battle, who, besides Will Anderson, could be arguably your second best defensive player, and then Brian Branch. And then in the secondary, you have Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I think we all love, and then a transfer from LSU and Eli Ricks. Also, we got to mention Malachi Moore. But this overall Alabama team, it's going to be great. So let's look at this schedule and compare the other years. This is a way tougher schedule than Alabama, but let's see what they do. Week 1, you host Utah State. And yes, even though Utah State is a top 2 to 3 team in the Mountain West this year, Alabama is a top 2 to 3 team in the SEC. And unless you're delusional and think the Mountain West is a way better conference than the SEC, Alabama is going to have this game very easily. Sorry, Utah State. I feel very sorry for Logan Bonner, as Dallas Turner and Will Anderson is going to be on him all game. So that's already a 1-0 start for Alabama. Next game, you're at Texas. Whoever decided, well, Fox decided to have this game on at 12. And this game, I think, is going to be close. I think the offense of Texas is really going to be explosive in this game, keeping up with Alabama's explosive offense. Another reason why this game is going to be closer is because of the weather. This is probably going to be a super sunny game in the middle of Texas, and then basically in the summertime. I'll be 100% surprised if it's not at least 100 degrees in this game. The players are going to be sweating. They're going to be out of breath. The injury rate's probably going to be a little higher than normal games. And also, it's going to be in Austin. Alabama's not the home team. It's kind of like a weird non-con game where you're on the road Yet it's not a neutral site game because we saw for so many years Alabama has a neutral site game as it was like Florida State and Orlando. I think we saw Miami and Atlanta. I think last year, but I think Alabama should win this game. I think Texas's overall experience and talent is not up to par with Alabama, so that's a 2-0 start for Alabama. Week 3, we're not even going to talk about it. Louisiana Monroe should not be a test for, well, yeah, it shouldn't be a test for Alabama. Easy 3-0. Well, talking about not a test, same thing at Vanderbilt. Well, home versus Vanderbilt, my bad. This is an easy win. So Alabama starts 4-0 in my opinion, and then you get to the gauntlet part of the schedule. First day of October, you go down to Fayetteville and you face Arkansas, and I think you're gonna beat Arkansas. As we saw last year, Arkansas kept it very close in Tuscaloosa. They ended up losing that game, and I think this game is going to be another close one. But Alabama, because of Nick Saban, somehow finds a way and wins this game. Then October 8th, this game is probably going to be an 8 o'clock kickoff on CBS. Texas A&M goes down to Tuscaloosa and faces the Crimson Tide. I want to say this is a close game after last year's upset and then the beef Saban and Jimbo had over the offseason. But that's not going to be the case. I think Alabama is going to say they're just going to embarrass Texas A&M on national TV. That's what I'm trying to get here. That is going to be a 6-0 start for the Crimson Tide, as I think Alabama's offense will. I'm not high on A&M this year. Very overrated. Could be how Iowa State and North Carolina was last year, but we will get to A&M when their predictions come. Then you're at your rivals at Tennessee. Is it even a rivalry? For the past 20 years, you basically owned them. But this is going to be another close game. Tennessee almost went down to Tuscaloosa again and almost upset Alabama. This time it's in Knoxville. This time Tennessee has way more talent on the team. Cedric Tillman's going to be improved. Alabama's going to win this game, though. I'm going to take Alabama. I think they have way more talent than Tennessee. Tennessee's on the rise. We'll get to that when we get their predictions. But Tennessee's definitely on the rise and is going to be a great team this year. But it's not going to be as great as Alabama this year. Then the following week, right before the bye, you host Mississippi State. And I want to say this is another close game. But I don't think it is. It's going to be very similar to the Texas A&M game. On paper and looking at statistics, yeah, maybe. This could be a close game. But I think Mike Leach, that offense with the air raid, I don't know how it's going to play up to par with Alabama's defense. Give me the Crimson Tide, and you are 8-0. Then you have a bye week, and then you're at LSU in Baton Rouge. Like I said, this is just a part of the gauntlet schedule. And I know LSU got Brian Kelly, but it may be weird to say that. I think they lost talent. Yes, they've gotten a significant upgrade in coaching, but maybe the talent got a little lost after transfers like Eli Ricks went to Alabama and others. But this is probably going to be another close game. Give me Alabama in this one. And then you're at Ole Miss. You go to Oxford, and Ole Miss has had a history of upsetting Alabama. Mainly in 2014 and 2015. I don't know. They almost did it in 2020 because I remember that game when Ole Miss really wasn't up to par as they are now. I want to say Ole Miss because this part of the gauntlet, Alabama, they could slip up in one of these games, but I think Nick Saban is going to outcoach Lane Kiffin. I know Ole Miss got talent. I think Jackson Dart's getting a little overhyped this year. The running game with Jerry on Ely and of course transfer Zach Evans, they're going to be electric. But to be fair, that interior defensive line for Alabama, then alongside Dallas Turner and Will Anderson, are going to stop those two. And I just don't think Jackson Dart can lead a victory, even though they're at home, versus Alabama in that secondary. So give me the Crimson Tide as you go 10-0. Next game, you have a gimme game, Austin P at noon. Just easy. You going 11-0. And then you have the Iron Bowl. Auburn I'm not high on this year after many rumors heading into this year. Also, I was really never a big fan of the Brian Harsin hire, but the Iron Bowl is always a good game. Like I've been saying this entire video, this is going to be a close match. Well, it's not going to be as close as other games on the schedule, but it'll be relatively close throughout, I want to say, the first half. Then Alabama will probably pull away. And I have Alabama going 12-0 this year with this schedule. Now, a more realistic prediction is probably going to be 11-0. You can easily lose a game at Arkansas, versus A&M, at Tennessee, versus Mississippi State, at LSU, and at Ole Miss. Does Bryce Young repeat his Heisman? I don't know about that. Does Jahmyr Gibbs get in the Heisman conversation? I hope so, but I don't know about that. Overall, Alabama is going to go 12-0 this year. Realistically, 11-1 could be a good prediction. If you have Alabama going 10-2 or worse, you're just an idiot. Well, at least from the preseason, at least this is probably going to backfire now. But yeah, undefeated season from Alabama heading into the SEC championship game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see y'all guys tomorrow for Clemson and Ohio State. Like always, like, share, subscribe, push notifications on, and like always, have a good day. Peace out.